Hello and welcome to Witchy Woman Podcast. I am your host, Danae Sweet, and this is Season 5, Episode 11. Today I was going to publish a different episode, but I think I'd like to focus on something else. The world feels like it's on fire, and I can't concentrate on topics that aren't addressing what's at the forefront of my thoughts at the moment. Every morning I listen and read news reports, and I do this at scattered parts, during the day too, and it's overwhelming. It's terrifying, and it's honestly rage-inducing at times. And honestly, it feels like we're stuck in a Simpsons or like a South Park episode. And if I could just wake up from this fucking nightmare, it would all be back to wherever the hell normal used to be. But unfortunately, this is real, and pretending it isn't won't help anybody. I know there are witches listening from outside the U.S., and I want to say to you that we appreciate every one of you that support and understand that most of us here in the U.S. are against what our country is doing in Iran and other countries that we are committing violence against. We are against the Tangerine Tyrant and would like to see him and his entire fucking administration in jail. I know there is a whole lot to be afraid of and to be anxious about, but I was thinking, let's just try and focus on things that we can do to manage that feeling. I want to state a disclaimer right off the bat that this is in no way a replacement for mental health and or medical treatment. What I will talk about is going to be spiritual and witchcraft methods to add as a supplement to whatever medical and or mental health treatments or plan that you are using or plan on using. Okay, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about some practical things that you can do to assist yourself in relaxing and taking a break from this tension. So first, let's tackle keeping ourselves cleansed and protected. And I know this seems like such a simple, obvious thing, but we're stressed out. We've got our regular lives and then all the shit that's going on top of it. So anyway, are you doing some kind of energy maintenance on yourself? I'm going to suggest that you do this weekly at a minimum. Pick a day. I like using the day I do my everything shower or bath, just because I'm already going to be doing the things, so I make it a big deal. Pick some ways that are accessible for you to cleanse your energy. I like to take spiritual baths, but if I'm too lazy for a bath, I'll brew cleansing herbs in a tea, and then I'll sponge that onto my body while I'm in the shower. And then I pour whatever's remaining over my head. Make sure you do your research and make sure whatever herbs you use are safe for your skin and hair. After, all that's done, I then rinse it off and visualize all that shitty energy coming off me like brown water. And I watch that go down the drain until I can visualize everything, the water's clear. You could also use a cleansing spray. You could use smoke, sound clearing, or whatever method works best for you. After you've cleansed, you'll need to ward yourself with something. So cleanse and protect. You could use a necklace or any other piece of jewelry charmed for protection, or maybe even a spell bag that you want to carry, or a crystal. Another method would be drawing sigils on your skin when you put lotion on. That's a really easy method to use, and it needs to be done daily though. Veiling is another way to keep your energy safe as well. For those who do not know what veiling is, that's putting a headscarf on or something on your head to protect the crown energy center on the top of your head. Google it. There's lots of different ways to do that, and you can do it really cute with your hair too. So anywho, you can also use a protection spray on yourself daily. And while you're doing this, don't forget to draw in the good stuff like joy, abundance, and peace. So I will also charm my perfumes for the good stuff, for joy, abundance, whatever I need. So those are just some ideas of how you can do a little bit of, personal energy maintenance. Okay, so Now we've talked about some kind of energy maintenance for ourselves. So cleansing, then protecting, because we want to get all the shitty energy out or off of ourselves. And then we want to protect ourselves from getting more of that shitty energy shoved at us. Because every time we open our phones, that's basically what it does. The next thing I want to talk about is, do you have a sacred space? Do you have a space that you can go to and shut the door and get some privacy? It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can be the bathroom, if that's the only place that you can lock the door and have some security. Mine is a couple places. My bedroom. I love to meditate there because I'm weird and I like to lay down while I meditate. I have a shitty back, so this makes it so I'm not thinking about how bad my back hurts while I'm sitting up meditating. And then I have a space in my witchy room that I designate for meditation. Another sacred space would be like your altars if you have an altar. I'm going to suggest that once a week you cleanse and ward that space. The whole house once a week would be great if you'd cleanse it. But let's just start small. Use whatever cleansing methods that you like. And to make a space sacred can mean different things for different people. I'm just going to share a couple examples of how you could bless a space. To make that your sacred space. So you're going to want to cleanse it with intention, make sure you're doing some kind of smoke clearing or music or sound or energy or however you cleanse. Do that. And then you're going to want to bless it. So you're basically saying, okay, now you're a cleansed space, and now I'm going to tell you what the space is for now. And you could make some type of chant that says something about how this space is now sacred and protected and whatever. You could also involve your deity. If you have a deity that you'd like to involve, you could ask them to bless this space as your sacred space. Google it, empower yourself by finding the solution to this. That way it's something that resonates with you. I hope that makes sense. So you have cleansed it, you have blessed it, and switch up the cleansing methods. So I might do smoke one week and sound the next, and maybe the next week I use some kind of spray that I made. Anyway, so change it up so you use different methods. Wards. So wards is what you do next, and that's going to be to keep the shitty energy flowing back in. So that could be crystals bordering your space. So put a crystal in the corner of the room or each corner of the room. You could use charms, spell bags, candles. Remember, it's whatever is accessible and easiest for you. Also fill that space with good vibes then. So when I've gotten all this stuff done, now I want to bring in relaxation and grounding vibes to this spot, because this is where I want to go to de-escalate my mood. I want to chill out. So fill that space with I'll burn herbs to promote that kind of feeling. I will play binaural beats or some kind of meditation music that promotes happiness and grounding and whatever you want to put in that, whatever you want the vibe to be. You're going to want to do things to bring in that feeling. I also have one candle that I have designated, basically it's my on switch for my space. I go over there, I'll grab my candle, I light it, and that is when my energy and the energy of that space knows that this is a sacred moment. And it really does help kind of train your brain to do that simple, just light the candle. And that starts your sacred time. Okay, so keeping up on our energetic maintenance as well as the energy in our sacred space is an excellent place to start. And remember, start small. Don't overwhelm yourself or you won't want to do any of this. I know I sure as fuck don't. When I get overwhelmed, I'm well, that's not happening. So one new habit every few weeks is a decent rate of change, but adjust that to however it feels good for you. If it takes longer than 2 weeks to really get in a zone with a new habit, take 3 weeks, take 4 weeks, whatever you need. Or if you've already got this down, great, a weekend, then add the next habit the next week. I'm going to share a few visualization exercises for those who enjoy that sort of thing. And I also have exercises that don't include visualization because I know some people really do not like those. Okay, so the first exercise, you're going to go to your space, that sacred space, and you're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize the color red. I like to visualize it as like a TV screen that glows a bright red color. You're going to slowly change that color in your mind to a peaceful blue. So you're going to watch the colors change from red to a little bit of purple, and then, like a darker indigo and a violet, and however, whatever, just get it to blue. And you're going to notice how your body feels with these colors. So sit with red for a little bit, notice how your body feels, then go ahead and start changing it to blue and really start thinking about relaxation and feeling your muscles. A good place to start is your jaw. Unclench your jaw and the rest of it kind of follows. I do that. It takes just a few minutes. It does not take much out of my day to do that kind of visualization. One, it's really good for relaxation. And two, it's an exercise that visualization is always helpful in witchcraft. So it helps you become a better and more powerful, I don't know what I want to say, visualizer. I don't know what the word for that is. Anywho, the next one. Same kind of thing, go to your space. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to imagine a rope that's pulled super tight. So tight that you can hear the fibers stretching. Then you're going to visualize the tension in the rope loosening little by little, and you can hear the fibers relax little by little until that rope has completely gone loose and fallen to the ground. And you're going to notice how your body feels as it relaxes with that rope. The next one that you can do without much visualization. Geez, I'm stumbling over that word. Anywho, is you close your eyes in your space. You're at your sacred space. You can do this anywhere, but I'm talking about if you're home and you have the time and you can go to your space. So go to your space. You're going to close your eyes and then you're going to cover them with the palms of your hand. Not too tight, just so it blocks out all the light. You're going to think about the color black. Black fur, a black blanket, whatever. You get the point. Black. Do this for a few minutes. Like really, really try to sit with that for a while. I'm thinking 2 or 3 minutes. And then you're going to slowly take your hands off of your eyes and then gradually open your eyes. And you're going to really enjoy the feeling of your eye muscles relaxing in this process. And then when you kind of open them up, you realize you have complete control over the tension in those muscles. It's a great way to train those muscles to relax because you can't help but start to relax once you can have a little bit of muscle control over those places around your eyes, your forehead, that sort of thing. The next exercise is box breathing, and I'm sure most of you have heard of this one, but it works really well for a lot of people. So you get comfortable in your space, lying or sitting down. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And then you're going to breathe in for 4 counts, pause, and then breathe out for 4 counts. So literally count them. If you need to count them out loud, count them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you'll keep doing this as long as you'd like. I try and set my alarm for 5 minutes of that when I'm really stressed out and I need a break, but you can do it for as long as short as you like. Also, a little tip, if you're going to use your alarm, make sure that you choose a nice soft alarm and it's not super loud so that you're not startled out of the zone that you're in when you do this exercise. There are so many different exercises that you can do. So if none of these seem like something that you try, just do an online search for relaxation and anxiety relief exercises and pick a handful of them to try. Sometimes just getting out of the freeze state that anxiety can cause is the hardest part. So just try something so you can get out of that state. Even if it's something that you didn't enjoy after you tried it, it's still you got out of that freeze state. I'm going to suggest one that people all over the world hearing this are going to groan, but journaling. It's another thing that I'm sure everybody has feelings about, but it does help to get all those feelings out. So start with just a daily list. Yeah, I have shit that I'm upset about and shit that I'm happy about. And I put 5 things down on each list. So I have put the date down. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I fill out 5 things I'm pissed off about and 5 things that sometimes it's not even that I'm happy about it. I'm just not pissed off about these other 5 things. But just get it out of your head and onto paper. And you can journal more if you like, but that's a great place to start. Another thing that isn't as accessible but does help is moving your body. I understand not everybody is able, but if you can, we do store a lot of stuck energy in our body. So moving it does help. Walk, dance, stretch, run, lift weights, whatever floats your boat, whatever kind of movement that you have access to. Move your body. For the tea drinkers out there, start drinking herbal teas that promote relaxation. At night, try a sleepy tea or find a blend that helps with anxiety. But as always, check with your doctor before adding any medicinal herbs to your routine. This one, I'm like rolling my eyes as I say this, but cutting down on caffeine is also something that is helpful. But if that pot of coffee is the only fucking thing you look forward to and that is your joy each day, leave it alone, drink your coffee. And the last mundane thing I want to mention is carving out some time to get off social media and disconnect from the outside world for a bit. If you're like me and you have raging ADHD, then that has to be scheduled in with an activity to replace the doom scrolling or it just doesn't work. So set an alarm daily and then have something planned to do during that time. So if you carve out 30 minutes, make sure you have something that you are going to do for those 30 minutes. So sometimes for me, that's making cookies, going for going for a walk. Going for a walk usually includes picking up rocks, so I understand how I made that slip. Anywho, reading or listening to an audiobook is something I also really enjoy. Painting or even a nap if that's what you need, but take a break. The news isn't going to go anywhere. The world will still be spinning and on fire when you come back from that break. We absolutely need to connect with our daily lives more instead of spreading our attention all over this timeline. Okay, so that is just a handful of practical things that you can do to help with the impending doom and overwhelming anxiety that seems to be the new normal for everybody now. I hate this reality. But let's get into what we can do in our witchcraft practices to help ourselves. So starting small, you could make a talisman to bring peaceful energy to yourself. You don't need to buy anything new for this. Just pick a piece of jewelry or a watch or something that you wear daily. There's a ton of different ways to make a talisman, so pick one from your favorite witchy how-to book or go online and search different ways to do it. Part of this whole process is empowering yourself to find the answers. So take a little time, find a method that you find interesting, accessible, and practical, and make a talisman for peace or grounding or whatever it is that you need to bring into your life. Another easy way to use the craft to assist in managing our anxiety is to make a grounding candle. It can be a white Dollar Tree candle. No need to get extravagant with this unless that's your jam. And in that case, you do you. Sometimes elaborate is fun. I can relate to that. Anyway, you can carve a sigil that you make that grounds you when the candle is burned. You can also use herbs and oils that correspond with grounding to dress the candle with if you'd like. Burn that every day and visualize yourself grounding as it burns. One of the things I like to imagine are like roots growing from my feet and connecting to the rocks in like the middle of the earth. Sometimes I also like envisioning like a current of energy. And like that's a red light and it's coming up from the earth into the soles of my feet to like the tippy top of my head and then back down to my feet and into the earth and making like a cycle. Sometimes that's very, therapeutic feeling to me. Making a spell bag for grounding is another good way to use the craft to chill out. You can buy those little bags online, or you can just cut a square of felt or fabric to use. You'll need some thread or a ribbon to close it up if you do use that option. But some things that you can put in those little bags for grounding. So pick a crystal, herbs for grounding and relaxing, an object that maybe you charmed for that purpose, and whatever else your witchy little heart wants to put in it. Go hit the books and pick a crystal, some herbs, whatever floats your boat, but put it in there. Also, you can put a little bit of your own DNA in it so that it's focused on you particularly. That can mean fingernail clippings, hair, whatever. It should be mentioned that with all herbs used in anything I'm suggesting, you're going to hold those herbs or crystals in your hand and you're going to tell them what their job is. So, for example, if I'm using chamomile in a spell bag for like relaxation, I'm going to ask the chamomile to use its relaxing energy for the spell bag to promote grounding and relaxation for myself. If you work with a deity, you can place the bag on your altar and ask for said deity to bless the spell bag. Don't forget to leave an offering in return and thank them though. Then carry that bag with you in your pocket, on yourself somewhere, like your bra, purse, sock, whatever works for you. Reiki is another thing I'd like to suggest, but I recognize that this is not accessible to everyone. So if you have access to a Reiki practitioner that's reputable, try to get a session done once a month. If you're a Reiki practitioner, you should be doing self-Reiki daily. The last thing I want to suggest is making a poppet of yourself for peace and grounding. You'll need a dirty sock. That's what I like to use because it's simple as fuck. But you can use felt or fabric and sew yourself a little gingerbread looking thing and sew it together. If you don't use a dirty sock, then you'll need to put your DNA in the poppet. But a dirty sock already has your DNA on it, and you can use like rubber bands or ribbon to make like the forms of the head, arms, and legs. So you're going to fill the sock with herbs, crystal, tumbles, crystal chips, oils, or whatever you want to promote healing, peace, and grounding. You're going to take the thread or whatever you have and fashion an arm, legs. So like for the head, you're just going to kind of scoosh some of the innards of your sock and then put a little bit of thread around it so it makes a head. Do the same thing with the arms and feet, and it's honestly not necessary if you don't want to. I just like crafts and I have ADHD and it's very soothing. So anyway, it makes a little craft project for me on the side. So you're going to do that and you're going to get a bowl, whatever bowl you want. I don't care what it's made out of, just a bowl. And you're going to fill it with calming, grounding crystals and place that poppet in the bowl on top of your altar. There's so many ways to do poppets. You can use your breath to breathe life into the doll. You can create a spell chant to activate it. You can involve your deity. There are many ways to activate your poppet. Some are methods that are connected to particular cultural traditions. So if you have a cultural tradition to follow, then use it. You'll want to refresh that every few weeks by adding herbs, cleansing the crystals in the bowl. You can even light a candle to feed your poppet the energy. Do your research. Just do your research so that you know you're not appropriating anybody else's traditions or culture. I really hope that this finds the witches that need it and that something in this episode can help you get some feeling of control over what's happening. We can't control world leaders, but we can help ourselves deal with it all. And I'm, again, like I said earlier, this is not to like replace any kind of medical or mental health treatment. This is to supplement those things. So anyway, to catch up on the 9 herbs charm video, I just got the last ingredient yesterday. So I will be filming that whole process of the charm spell this week. I'm pretty excited to try it out. Remember, experimenting with our craft is how we learn, and that's what keeps it interesting for most of us. I might fail at this charm. It might not do shit. I might fuck it up, but it's fine. I'm going to have fun trying to recreate it, and maybe if it doesn't work, I can revamp it to make it work for me. Okay, if you've stayed this long, I'm going to pull a card to see what's the most important thing we need to know to get us through the next few weeks. And this is from the Spellcasting Oracle deck again. All right. 1, 2, 3. What do we got? We have compassion. I like to call this one the burnt out empath card. This is how I feel. This card looks how I feel. Basically, it's got this woman and she has the world kind of holding the world. And she looks done with everything and everyone's shit. She looks tired. To me, this is a gentle reminder to us all that there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot to be sad about. There's a lot of empathy and compassion to be had. However, take a break. You're going to burn out. You can't help others if you're not taking care of yourself. So let's do a little self-care this week. Maybe implement some of these things I was talking about in this episode, because this is the long game. At this point, we have to start taking care of ourselves and preventing burnout. All right. I hope that everybody is safe. And that's all I have for this week. So until next time, stay witchy. Bye-bye.